This is a story of Dave and Sharon finally living their dreams of sailing to the Caribbean and beyond. Join us while we share our adventures from getting the boat ready and embarking on our cruising life.
So we've had a problem with our Mizzen furling system. When we're trying to bring the sail in, which uses a crank system, a gear system on the Amel Mango, and you use a handle, a winch handle on it to bring it in, and it's been skipping, and then finally it didn't work at all. So we're going to take apart as much as we can, see if we can find the problem and find a solution for it. This is the Mizzen gear setup. It consists of the Mizzen gear crank, where you use a winch handle, the winch used for Mizzen, pulling out the outhaul and the outhaul line. After pulling out the gears, we found that the gear from the Mizzen crank was badly worn and missing teeth. Also, there were some other problems causing this. Here is the damaged crank gear, and we found out that a worn foil bearing was the cause. The main gear would slip out, but it did not damage the main gear. Of course, you can't find a replacement gear for this, so I took a whole bunch of pictures with marking what they are so I could send them to different places to see if I can get somebody to manufacture the gear for them. I looked up and took down all the measurements with drawings, and then started calling places all over the United States to see if I can find somebody to manufacture this. Should have been a simple job for a machinist or a CNC that had the right equipment. So we finally found a place to redo the Mizzen gear, the Mizzen sail gearbox. It's basically, I have a stripped gear. We'll take it right here. That was the stripped gear. And here's the repaired gear. Well, repaired or rebuilt one. Now, what we didn't know at first, this collar right here, as you can see right there, this was so tight we didn't even know there was a collar there. And didn't even know there was a collar there. So when he pulled it, he goes to press it off. Of course, he broke the bottom in that, so he made up a new collar, pinned it in, did a really beautiful job. So whenever if you're getting into this problem, you have to pull this pin out, punch that pin out, and then this should pull right off, and then you'll have a collar right here. So that was all rebuilt, and I'll get the name of that place. It's near Cape Canaveral, Florida. It's about half an hour away. Actually, the gear was sent over to the west side of Florida, and the machinist that did the rest is here in Christmas. So that's that. So here's what we did for the machining. We have, hold on, and this was just an extra. I bought two because at first I thought there was two of them in there, but let me show you. This part right here is actually a Delron piece that goes down in about most of the way down in, and then there's a groove in it for an O-ring. Goes right in there. Now this is a bigger O-ring that came with it, but the original O-ring, you got some cracking right here. So whoops, right there. So if that's a problem, if that cracking right there's a problem, then I can go back and have my machinist get some Delrin, and then we'll or Bakelite, that's what it is, Bakelite, and he'll machine that. So what we did in here is I have, this is what failed. That's what failed, was the needle bearings. And so I bought ones that fit in there, and I bought two because I thought they went all the way down, but they didn't. And so right here we had to have this machined out to fit the outside. I got the inside so they fit perfectly, and the outside was a little bit bigger, so we did that. And then this right here had a race in it, and it was a I believe it was a Bakelite, and then there was you know, it was ball bearings that were individually put in. So it was Bakelite and a small no, actually I think it was cut right into it. There was a groove cut in for ball bearings, and then a piece of metal on that. And so there's, and then the top part that goes on the shaft here is actually a groove in Bakelite, and then they put in, I think, 16 bearing balls in there, and of course those failed too, but not as bad as this. This right here is what failed. And so what we did to replace this is a thrust bearing that goes on top. So we machined it out to fit that. These are sealed bearings. We'll be greasing those up. And then there's another race. And now when the other shaft goes on there, which is still in the mask because I couldn't get it out, that will come right up there, because this whole thing goes upside down like this. And so that will all stay in there. The shaft will go up in there, and this has some room to turn. And now the other thing I had them do, again, the reason it failed was the grease ran out in this needle bearing here. And so if you look at these needle bearings, it has a little grease ridge in there, at least the ones I got to replace. It's got a little oil or grease ring that will be able to grease it from the outside going into the needle part of that. Actually, you can see right there, there's a little one from the inside. But what I did is I had him drill a grease hole right there, and then we're going to take this stainless steel Zerk fitting with some ultra Tef gel, so it doesn't weld itself in there. But that's a stainless steel right angle, and that's going to go in here, and it's going to go at whatever angle I can reach it from the side of the inside of the mass, and we'll be able to grease it up a couple times. And now the last problem I have is when I put this shaft back in here. Ooh, there we go. When I put this shaft back in as such, then this wore down. So there's a Bakelite ring right here that is supposed to be on. So the first thing I'm going to do is take, where is it? Just this, and I'm going to try to hammer that down so that Delrin is even with this surface. And then I bought some nylon spacers. I have two different ones, so that we're going to build that spacer right there. I have to Dremel this out so it will fit on the end here, and that spacer should take up two things. One is it will give me a rub surface for the back of this, which will also add some Teflon grease in there. And because the other gear has some wear to it, I'm not sure that this is going to go into that gear far enough. So this will, either one of these will lift that gear further out this way. I'll just stick it this way, that would be upside down. I think this would be upside down, of course, but it will push this gear out so it will match up to the other teeth on this, which are slightly worn. It may not need it, but we'll see. We'll see if we can easily. Let's go to the back one. Let's see. Give me a little more. No, that's not going to move. I have to take that to some solid. That's not going to move. That's not going to move without breaking it. So we'll just go with these, and that should do the trick. I guess I could fill this in. I could fill this in with JP Weld and smooth it down so maybe I'll do that. JP Weld and then grind it, get it nice and smooth, and tape that off so we don't get the original coating off, because it seems to be a pretty good coating.
I've done quick FaceTime video calls with photographers before.
Alright, we'll let that sit till tomorrow, get it nice and hard. In the meantime, I'll see if I can grind this down to fit there. I'll grind these both down, see if I can fit them on here. Shims, and then when this is done, we'll take the inner tape off and then leave this tape on, and we'll just take a Dremel tool with a little sanding wheel and we'll sand her flat so that they'll sit behind here. So now we're going to remove this inner tape only, leave this here to protect it, and try to do a little sanding with this. Oops. See how the seaming goes. So now I should be able to pull the tape off. Not too bad. Okay, so what we're going to do is go do a little form fitting. Throw it on. Because I don't have somebody to hold the camera. Put it in and then do a video of it as we put in. I'm just right now we're just going to kind of put everything in dry to fit the gap here and to fit the bottom into there, make sure everything fits in. A little rotary tool to smooth out where it sticks in a little bit. So I'm going to use a little of this just to temporarily give me some lubrication, and then we'll grease her up. Right, there we go. But we do this all dry for now, and we're going to go pop it in the Mizzen mask, put the other gear in, and see if everything aligns and works. So I ran into a couple challenges, and we're going to see if we can overcome them. One is for this grease nipple. Of course, I can't get it. I have to put it on after this piece is in the mask, because this won't fit through the slot. So I'll have to reach up and see if I can. If not, I'll fill that hole in. The other problem, these are the bearings that I'm trying to replace, or that I'm trying to get in there. The original bearings are about 4 millimeters, and therefore the other piece on the shaft is wide, too wide to get down in between this hole, and therefore it doesn't go down far enough or go up far enough to get the holes into the furling that comes down. So originally we're going to do this. So it's a race on the bottom. You've got the captive bearings and then a race on top. And that puts me about that thick too high where the bottom of the other piece will sit right on this, because it won't go down in it like it's supposed to. So the bottom of the other shaft is stainless, similar to this, and so I smoothed it out, and we'll just use that as the race right on top of here. They'll go right on, just the lip would just get the balls in there, and so we'll see. We're gonna assemble it and see if that all lines up, and then we'll just have to figure an O-ring, some kind of O-ring on that shaft wide enough to seal everything. So I have to grind the teeth down a little on this so it will fit in the other one enough for the shaft to go up and the bolts to fit in again. And unfortunately I got it right on the last one, but we'll give her a shot so you can at least see what. Dremel tool with a little stone in it. We're just popping her off. So you don't have to do much here to measure it off. You can just go by looks. So you can see just the width on there. Just the width. So as long as the widths are about the same. And then I'm going to point them just a little bit. They'll still be square on the top, but I'm going to point them a little so they'll go deep down in. Now we're going to cut the troughs in the old gear a little. And since I can't take it out, we have to put it in here. I'll have to get this Dremel tool down in here, and then we'll cut that troughs just a little bit deeper, also that we can get into that hole right there, so the shaft will go up far enough to align the bolts into these holes, and then everything will be aligned correctly, including this surface right here is going to be our new race for the thrust bearing. Right, so I've cleaned it all up. Right there you can see we've ground it a little bit, smoothed it out, made those troughs a little deeper, and now we're going to see if she fits. If not, I may have to grind it a little more. And got it greased up, and now we just got one more bolt to do. This guy right here, and you can see he sits a little bit low into here, so I had to get this extended drill bit so I can come in real low here and get that drilled out. It's just a little tiny bit, but she works like a dream. Got her all greased up. Works like a dream. Got that bolt in. So now gotta drill this one and get a bolt in there, and we are all set now. We just have to get the sail on it and go from there. Right, so she is all put back together. You'll see. I'm gonna turn her here, turn her there. She works like a charm. I don't know if I can get this in here. There you go. I kind of bent that screw right up in the middle there, but that's not going to hurt anything. Pull it over the middle so I can get the sails up now. All right.
We want to say thank you to all of our viewers who have subscribed and commented. We appreciate your support and feedback. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. This really helps us build our channel up so we can keep bringing you more videos.